語の漢詞って面倒くさい。別になくてもいいじゃん。と思ったことはありませんか？日本語だとこれは犬ですと簡単に言えるのですが、英語だと This is a dog, this is the dog, this is that dog その名詞に何かつけないといけないんですよね。しかも何もつけなくてもいいケースもあったりして、一体英語の名詞に何をいつなぜつけるのかを把握するのがめちゃくちゃ難しいです。
This is pen.
No, it's a pen or the pen.
なんであとかざとかつけないといけないの？
なんでだろうね。
皆さんこんにちは、アーサーです。この悩みを解決して英語の名詞を自然に使えるように、今回の動画では英語の名詞の本質について一緒に学びたいと思います。よろしくお願いします。Before we get started, I just want to say, if this is your first time watching this YouTube channel, thank you so much. You know, every week I put out videos to help you not just learn English, but really understand the native English speaker's sense of English so that you can actually use English in the real world. Now, if that's something that you're interested in, please consider subscribing and clicking the notification bell and checking out some of our other videos. And if you're coming back to our videos again, thank you so much for watching this time. All right, so in today's video, we're going to be learning about what nouns really are, like a native speaker understands what they are. So hopefully you can use nouns naturally like a native speaker when you speak English. And to do that, we actually have to look at the two worlds in which nouns exist and also a little bit of Greek philosophy. I promise you it's relevant to this video and it's very important, so please don't skip this section. In English, there are actually two separate worlds that nouns live in. 二つの世界って？朝何言ってんの？ When you say a noun in an English sentence, what you're actually doing is calling upon two things. You're calling upon that physical object and also the label that's attached to that object. You know, words are just labels for things in our everyday world. You know, they're not actually a part of those things, but we use words to categorize and separate to understand the things around us. Like, for example, what is this? Well, in English, you'd say, this is a chair. Now, when I say the word chair, I'm referring to this physical object, but I'm also using the label, the category of chair. You know, the word chair is not a part of this object. You know, if I take off the back of it, maybe I put a plate and some food on it, it's not a chair, it becomes a table. そのもの自体があんまり変わっていないのに、我々のこのものに対する考え方、見方が変わっただけで、chair じゃなくなって別の名詞になるのです。And this concept was expressed by the Greek philosopher Plato in his theory of forms, プラトンのイデア論. Yeah, this guy right here. According to Plato's philosophy, there are two worlds where things exist. You have the idea kai and the genjitsu no sekai. You have the world of forms and the real world. Now, what are ideas? What are idea? What are forms? The form, the idea of something is its pure ideal perfect form. 理想的なイメージですね。例えばですね、僕があなたに犬をイメージしてくださいと言ったとして、あなたが頭の中でイメージする犬は、具体的なイメージはあるかもしれないんですけど、現実の世界に実在している犬じゃない可能性が高いです。それがあなたのイメージする理想的なザ・犬という典型になるんですね。
Hey Arthur, I want dog.
Well, I present to you dog.
Not that one.
Oh, okay, this one.
That's not real.
Yeah, you didn't say which. Oh.
でも外に出ると道端で見かける犬も犬と呼ぶんですが、それはあなたの頭の中のイメージの犬と違いますよね。でもどっちも犬ですね。その頭の中にあるイメージの犬はイデアで、その実際に見かけた犬は現実の世界の犬です。Now, no one actually believes that there's a separate idea kai that actually exists, but this concept exists in English grammar. You know, when you talk about idea, the idea are perfect, they're ideal, they're fine on their own, they don't need anything else. But when you talk about 現実の世界のもの, those are imperfect, those are not ideal. They're kind of 物足りない, they lack something, they need something, or what I call 寂しい, they feel lonely. And so when you talk about 現実の世界のもの, they need something I call an 相手の言葉, the, that, this, my, your, some. They need something with it or it doesn't feel like it's enough. So for example, if you and I were on the street and we saw a dog and I said, "That is dog." Well, first you'd think I'm pretty weird. And then also, you'd feel kind of like it's a little bit monotarinai. There needs to be another word with it to give it more specificity. You would think, huh? Which dog? That dog? A different dog? Do you mean the ideal dog? What? And this feels weird because even though you're seeing a genjitsu no sekai no inu, by saying that is dog, there's no aite no kotoba. You're saying that that's an idea. I mean, you're saying it's an idea, but it's actually physically there in front of you. You have that mismatch. It feels strange. But when you talk about something as the concept, as the idea, it's perfect. It's fine on its own. It does not need aite no kotoba. Like for example, let's look at love. A lot of times people don't use aite no kotoba with love. Like in this song. In this case, the person is saying, what is love? What is the concept of love? What does it mean? He's not talking about a specific case of love. He's talking about love in general. So there's no aite no kotoba. Now, if he was talking about his love for someone else, he would say my love or your love. He would have an aite no kotoba because that's about a physical example of love in the real world. And this is why when you say 英語を学んでます or 英語が好きです, you don't say I like English, the English. You say, I like English because English isn't a physical thing. It's an idea. It's a concept. It's an idea. Now, if you want to talk about someone's kuchiguse or hogen, that specific example of English, you would say, I like his English or I like her English.
To be or not to be?
Oh, I like that English.
Yeah, I like that English too.
All right, so now we looked at the basic way of thinking. Now let's look at some specific examples in everyday English. When you talk about something in general, you're talking about its idea, so you don't use aite no kotoba. So if the word is countable, you can use the plural form. So if you like cats, you'll say, I like cats. I like dogs. Because you can count them, you say the plural, I like cats, I like dogs. If it's not plural, you just use the word by itself. I like fruit, I like music, I like art, something like that. But if you were offering fruit to someone because you're offering them specific fruit, you would say,
I really like fruit.
Want some fruit?
How long have you been holding that?
Do you want some fruit? Because you're not talking about fruit as a concept, you're talking about the specific fruit you want to give them. Another example is when native speakers say, I'm going to school or I go to school. Of course, school is a physical place. It's a building. And so people would think you use an aite no kotoba, but school is more than just a building. It's a concept. It's an idea. It's an image in our mind. You don't just go to the school building. You study, you do club activities. There's a whole world in that school. And so people say, I go to school. Now, if you said, I'm going to the school, that means that you're just going to the building, but you're not taking part in the other school activities. So maybe after the school is closed, you are going to go there because you forgot something. In that case, you'd say, I'm going to the school. But if you're going there to be a part of the school, to be part of that image of school, you just say, I'm going to school, nothing else.
Hey, Natsumi, I'm going to the school now.
Okay, have fun studying.
Well, I'm not actually going to study. You see, I said I'm going to the school because I'm just going to the building. If I wanted to study, I'd say...
大丈夫。もう大丈夫。
You never listen to me.
Another example is when native speakers say, I'm eating breakfast, lunch, dinner. You know, you're actually eating physical food, but the idea of breakfast, lunch, and dinner is a concept in our minds. You're not actually eating the concept of it, but the food that you eat at that time is breakfast or lunch or dinner. Now, if you wanted to focus on a specific instance of breakfast, lunch, and dinner, like what you ate today, you would say, my lunch today, not my today's lunch. Sometimes you'll hear in a movie someone say, please eat your breakfast, please eat your lunch. Now, in that case, why would they say your breakfast, your lunch? Well, in most cases, it's a mother talking to her kids, telling them asa gohan tabe nasai, right? What that means is the mother is pointing to the food in front of them, saying, eat this food. It's specifically this food in front of you. So it has 相手の言葉。
Arthur, eat your lunch.
Oh, that looks good. This is plastic.
Alright, now we've looked at some specific examples. Let's test how well you understand this topic. I'm going to give you a series of sentences and I want you to tell me what words you put in the blank or if you don't put any word in the blank. Alright, here's the first sentence. Yesterday, I went to the park and saw blank dog. What would you put in the blank here? Well, in this case, you would say a dog. You wouldn't say just dog because you saw a physical dog. Now, why would you say a? Well, it's because it's a dog you've never seen before. It's a dog that the other person doesn't know. I can explain that reason in a different video, but for now, you know you need an 相手の言葉 here. All right, the next sentence. Blank money is important for life. What would you put in the blank? Well, in this case, you wouldn't put anything. There's no 相手の言葉 because money as a concept, you're talking about money in general here, not a specific example of money, but just money in general is important for life. Okay, now what about this sentence? Do you know where blank money is? Do you need an 相手の言葉 here? Well, the answer is yes, because you're talking about a specific instance of money. In this case, you would probably say, do you know where my money is? Like you gave someone some money and you're expecting it back, but they don't have it. So you would say, do you know where my money is? Now, what about in the sentence, I like studying blank English? What would you put here? Or does it need an 相手の言葉? Well, in this case, it does not need an 相手の言葉 because you're talking about I like to study English as a concept in general, not a specific form of English, but just in general, you like studying English. Okay, now here's the last sentence. What about this one? I like the sound of blank English. Does this need an 相手の言葉 here? Well, it actually depends on what you want to say. If you're talking about English in general English, then you don't need an 相手の言葉 because you're talking about the concept in general. But if you're talking about someone's specific 口癖 or 方言, you would say, I like the sound of your English or his English or her English or something like that. Alright, まとめに入りましょう。1、現実の世界に実在しているものだと相手の言葉が必要になります。a, the, this, that, some, my, your コンセプトとして考えていて、現実の世界に実在していないイデアだと相手の言葉は不要です。例えば、What is love は love をコンセプトとして話しているので相手の言葉が不要です。また、My love for you is strong はコンセプトとしてじゃなく私のあなたに対する愛の具体例について話しているので my をつけます。3、使い分けはいろいろありますが原則としてそのものの一般的なことについて話すときに相手の言葉が不要です。例えば、I like dogs, I like cats. でも具体的なものについて話すときに相手の言葉が必要です。I like this cat, I like that cat, I like those cats over there. Alright, 今回のレッスンでは普段教科書で学べないネイティブの感覚を学べました。でもほとんどの英語を勉強されている方はフレーズとか文法をたくさん学ぶのにそのネイティブの感覚、話す感覚がないからいきなり外国人の対面するってなると頭が真っ白になって言葉が出てこなくなります。具体的にどうしたら英語を学ぶだけではなく実際に話せるようになるのでしょうか。もうそれを今回の動画で伝えるのにかなり時間がかかるので無料ガイドにまとめました。So 無料ガイドをゲットするには You can click up here or you can click the link in the description box below. As always, enjoy your English adventures. 一緒に世界とつながりましょう See you next time!
Hey Arthur.
Yeah?
I want a dog.
Well, I present to you dog.
Not that one.
Huh? Oh, okay, this one. I want a real one.
I want a real one. 最初でもそれやんなかったじゃん。
Yeah, I know. It's fine. We can do them both at the same time.
Okay.
Okay.